Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome all the real estate agents and brokers in the audience today, along with the buyers who are looking to become educated and to discover what you need to know before you write the check, that big check for your $1,000,000 vacation home. This is an online mini fast track seminar brought to you by the Schecher Group Owners Club. And I hope you will benefit from taking a few minutes out of your busy schedule to follow along with our audience today. What we're going to look at is basically, we're going to answer the question, what you need to know before you write the check for that $1,000,000 vacation home you're looking to acquire for your family. Basically, there are three types of ownership. And this will be true for just about every vacation home out there if it qualifies. There's traditional ownership. There's fractional ownership. And there is the right of use ownership. The purchase price of each form of ownership is unique to that particular form of ownership. Traditional, the $1,000,000 vacation home will cost you $1,000,000, cash or credit. Fractional, the purchase price here is $500,000. This is for a 50% fractional ownership, but there are companies out there that offer as low as a 1/12, 1/8, or 1/4 fractional. But for illustration purposes today, we're just going to use the 50% fractional ownership, and compared to traditional, you will pay $500,000. The right of use, by comparison, the cost for that $1,000,000 home with the right of use will be $125,000. And you can see this happy family is checking out the home offered for sale by the Schecher Group Owners Club. This is a $1,000,000 vacation property. You'll notice the price varies for the exact same property. $1,000,000 for traditional, $500,000 for fractional, and $125,000 for the right of use ownership. The cost of ownership for each one of the types of ownership has an ongoing cost associated with it. Traditional, you will pay all the expenses, whatever they may be. It's usually the mortgage, the maintenance, the utility, the taxes, basically everything that goes along with the cost related to a primary residence. You're going to find the same cost associated with a vacation home. If you have a fractional form of ownership, you will only pay your fractional share of all those expenses. And if you have a right of use form of ownership, you will pay no ownership cost whatsoever. And again, we are talking about the exact same vacation property. Now, let's take a look at a specific example. Here we're going to say the purchase price for this family will be $1,000,000. They will qualify for a 10-year interest-only mortgage at 3%, and they have saved and they're going to put down a 10% down payment. So, what will your out-of-pocket expenses be? We call that the OOPE, out-of-pocket expenses, over the next 10 years. Well, 10 years down the road, in the traditional form of ownership, you will have taken $370,000 out of your pocket. This is what it costs between your interest payments, doesn't even include the taxes, maintenance, and all those other charges, but just basically your down payment and your interest over 10 years is going to cost you $370,000. If you bought a fractional share, a 50% fractional share, well, guess what? Of course, you'll pay half as much, or you'll pay $185,000. Now, when you do the right of use form of ownership, your cost is significantly lower after 10 years. Your cost is only $125,000. By comparison, this is a tremendous savings for the exact same $1 million vacation home. Now, what are some of the other things you need to consider when you buy a vacation home? Well, 10 years go by, and 10 years down the road, if you went for traditional or fractional ownership, depending upon the cost, whether it be $1 million or $500,000, you're going to have a vacation home that was originally valued at $1 million, but at the end of 10 years, you're going to find yourself tied to one property. You're tied to one destination. You purchase the home, you have that particular home for a 10-year period of time, and it ties you down to the same vacation for the next 10 years. So the question becomes, is this what you really want when you buy a vacation home? Now, by comparison, the right to use not only costs $125,000, but 10 years down the road, you will not find yourself tied to one property and one destination. You will have the ability to experience several $1 million vacation homes. You will have a choice of vacation homes and destinations for the next 10 years compared to being tied down to just one property and one destination. The Schecher Group Owners Club. It's where we allow the math to speak for us. We invite you to come join the winning team. It is a place where real estate agents become educators and buyers become winners. Club, the SGOC, right to use form of ownership. This is the smart buyer's alternative and the next generation to vacation home ownership. Let's take a look at the particular SGOC certificate of use, and tonight we're going to review it. The beauty of this particular certificate is that it's not complicated. It's very concise and to the point and extremely easy to understand by just about everybody. Understanding the SGOC certificate of use. It begins with the offer, the SGOC offer. Number one, SGOC offers certificate of use, right to use a specific vacation property to buyer for a defined period of time at a set price for a defined number of years. Number two, SGOC warrants that the property being offered for use is debt-free, mortgage-free. There is no debt incurred on any of the properties that are in the SGOC portfolio. Number three, SGOC warrants that the property being offered is fit for vacation occupancy and is maintained by set standards established by the SGOC. Number four, SGOC warrants that it maintains a private collection of vacation properties and the collection has no less than 10 luxury vacation properties valued in excess of $1 million or more, and the collection also includes other vacation properties valued below $1 million, which include but are not limited to hotel suites and other vacation accommodations such as camping, RV, and outdoor facilities. Number five, SGOC warrants that for any reason the primary property is not available, the buyer will receive a similar property of like kind and quality, and/or an upgrade to a higher level property in the SGOC private portfolio of properties. This is the SGOC offer made to buyers. Now, let's take a look at what the buyer's acceptance is. The acceptance by the buyer. Number 1, buyer accepts the offer to use a specific property provided by the SGOC, and this property of choice becomes the buyer's primary property. Number 2, the primary property is guaranteed for a specific period of time, a defined number of weeks for a defined number of years. Number 3, buyer will have unlimited access to other SGOC vacation properties classified as secondary properties at a fee established by the SGOC, and this is what is known as the cost of ownership fee. And the fee is generally the pro rata cost of the actual ownership of any given property for that particular period of time it is occupied by an owner of a certificate. Number 4, there is a zero cost for occupancy of the primary property during the guaranteed period and for the term of the right to use, the number of years the certificate is good for. Number 5, there is a dollar cost fee, and this is known as the owner's cost fee, for occupancy of secondary properties. As a owner, you pay only the actual cost as determined by SGOC on an annual basis of what it would cost to occupy any given property, just as if you were the owner of that property. Number 6, the owner's cost fee is defined as the SGOC pro rata cost of ownership for the time of occupancy at any given property. This owner's cost fee will vary from property to property, and it's established annually by the SGOC, the Schecher Group Owners Club. The consideration. The consideration is defined as the price paid by the buyer for the right to use certificate offered by the SGOC, the Schecher Group Owners Club. Right to use certificate values as of June 1st, 2013. Level 1 certificate of use, the cost is $125,000. Level 2 certificate of use, the cost is $150,000. And Level 3 certificate of use, the cost is $250,000. There is what's known as an exit program, and this is for what we call the blue-collar certificate. The cost is $15,995. However, this is limited to only specific properties, and they will be defined at another seminar. The terms and conditions of the Certificate of Use Ownership form. The SGOC agrees to offer the right to use certain vacation properties as evidenced by a SGOC Certificate of Use. The buyer agrees to purchase the SGOC right to use certificate for a certain vacation property or properties subject to a particular set of right to use rules that are established by the SGOC on an annual basis or on an as-needed basis. This group of rules are set to maintain the integrity, the value, and the longevity of the portfolio of vacation properties. As with any type of a contract, there'll be an acknowledgement, which is the signature of both parties, the SGOC and the buyer.